Welcome to this continuing series from Morgan Rees.
You ready for this? You ready for this?
It's hard to explain Israel's security predicament to someone living in a country 500 times the size of Israel. But imagine the entire United States being compressed into the size of New Jersey. Next, put on New Jersey's northern border an Iranian terror proxy called Hezbollah, which fires 6,000 rockets onto that small state. Now imagine on New Jersey's southern border another Iranian terror proxy called Hamas. It too fires 6,000 rockets into your territory while smuggling in even more lethal weapons into its territory. Do you think you would feel a bit vulnerable? Do you think you would expect the understanding of the international community when Israel tries to defend itself? While I was recently in Israel, over 60 rockets and mortars were fired from the Gaza Strip into Israeli communities. Rockets struck 3 cities, killing 1 person, injuring approximately 30, most suffering from shock. Several buildings, including a school, were damaged in the attacks. Approximately 300,000 Israelis live in 150 settlements in the West Bank. 2.2 million Arabs live in the West Bank. In 1948 was the Independence War. However, Jordan occupied the West Bank until 1967. The Green Line was drawn up in 1949, which drew up the Jewish and Arab borders. 38,000 attacks, anywhere from a knife to a rocket, and over 1,200 casualties, mostly civilians. Most terrorists come from the West Bank. This was before there was no security barrier. Also, because everything is so close and small, it made it very easy for terrorists to travel to a highly populated Israeli area. Terrorists are lethal and strategic because they are very accurate, more than rockets, and they cause more deaths. Suicide bombers just look like civilians. The disguise is good, so they can get into large crowds and gatherings and kill many. More than 800 attacks have been prevented because of the security barrier. However, rocket attacks can still occur, but because they're not accurate, they could land somewhere undesirable. One hits a school, war could break out. Suicide bombings take planning and time, so if one person is caught, it can bring down an entire cell and prevent an attack. Most terrorists aren't from poor social-economic backgrounds. 40% were highly educated and from the middle class. 95% of the security barrier is just a fence, not a wall. The fence is not electric. It only has sensors, motion detectors, and video surveillance. All of this data is transmitted via satellites to command rooms, bases, and watchtowers. To put things into perspective, imagine if Cuba launched a single missile into Florida. Within minutes, the United States would retaliate with everything it's got, and every nation in the world would report it. I'm not telling you how to think, but it's important to have a voice. It's important to know what's going on, and it's important to have a voice that has an educated opinion. It's a noble obligation, especially in these critical times.
If you'd like to learn more about these important concepts or any other issues that we've covered on today's show, log on to www.morganrees.com. That's morganrees.com. Thanks for listening.